Football season is back. Are you ready? We're going to be bringing you all the best games, all the worst games, all the really annoying games. Join us on Lateral, episode 7, for some Patriots roster cuts, some NFL news, a little Red Sox, a little predictions. Prediction? Pain.
Hello, welcome to the Lateral, episode 7, which is also a special episode because, gentlemen, we have reached the regular season of
The Lateral.
the NFL. Football season is officially back, and it's actually kind of funny.
time.
They say it like football season is back about 500 different times during the year, like the draft. Football season is back. Preseason training camps, teams start returning. Football season is back. Preseason starts. Football season is back.
So what? Basically, the Super Bowl ends. You have the All-Star game, right?
The Pro Bowl game.
It's
actually the week before the
and
Super
then
Bowl
what? 2
now.
weeks later, the draft.
Well, it's like the combine. It's like football season is back.
You miss football? Guess what? We got
Football season is back. But anyway, Krishna and Ravi, our producer, Krishna, our co-host, myself, Arjuna. Hello.
Hello.
Are you guys excited? Football. And
I mean,
games being
it's
back?
more of a relief, to be honest.
You're not a fan of the preseason.
The preseason for me is slightly torturous because it's just a reminder of how close you are to competitive games.
Is it like a tease?
It is a tease. That's exactly
It's
how
a very
I describe
big
it.
tease.
Yeah.
Like a tease.
Yes. Yes,
Well,
like a tease.
Well, this preseason had a lot of storylines though going. I mean, Patriots fans obviously, wanted to see how the split was between Garoppolo and Brady, and we saw how that played out.
Interesting stories, but when it comes down to it, I just want to see some games that matter. Actual football action.
Well, we're here.
Finally.
We are taping on Tuesday, September 6th. 2 nights from now, we will be finishing up Thursday night. It's 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time right now. We'll be finishing off the Thursday night game between the defending Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos and the runner-ups Carolina Panthers.
First losers.
It's not really being billed as a rematch because both Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler, the two quarterbacks of the Broncos, are actually gone, and Trevor Siemian, who's a rookie last year, is their starter. A lot of changes.
He's their savior.
A lot of changes. Cam Newton is obviously still there. Josh Norman, though, another big star from the Super Bowl, is also gone from the Panthers. So speaking of the Thursday night game, let's just go around really quickly in games that you're excited for. I'm excited for the first game itself. Just, the football is back. I don't think the game is going to be that great.
Yeah.
I think both teams are certainly not as good as they were in February. Both these teams have taken huge hits personnel-wise. The Broncos offense is a big question mark to me, and the Panthers defense, especially their secondary, is a big question mark to me. I'm not really. Their secondary was overrated last year, and they've lost their best cover guy in Josh Norman. So it's just going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah. Games I'm excited for, super excited. I'm super biased, but I also think it's, pretty marquee matchup this early in the year is Patriots at Cardinals. I think that's going to be a great game. At least I hope it is.
It's being built. A lot of people think that could be a Super Bowl preview. Those are the Super Bowl favorites right now for a lot of people.
Yeah, and the other game that I'm so excited for, and if you don't agree with me, then I just don't know what you're doing. I think Browns and Eagles is going to be a fantastic game.
Wait, I'm sorry. Even I know that's kind of a joke.
What? You're not excited?
Sorry.
You're not excited for Carson Wentz versus Robert Griffin III?
Oh God, it's so bad.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Rams at 49ers. It's going to be a great game.
Hey, you stole that from me.
That's exciting for.
That's the game I'm excited for.
But yeah, you've already said like 4 answers, so
Yeah.
you're stealing a lot of games.
Shut up.
I asked for 1.
Buccaneers at Falcons. Amazing competitive game.
Uncle Gary's a Buccaneers fan.
He is.
That's right.
That's
I
the
did not
only
know
Buccaneers fan I know.
Well, he's a
of.
Patriots
seriously.
fan, but he also likes the Buccaneers.
But he's a Patriots fan by
know that.
default.
Well, he grew up in the Massachusetts area.
So by
He's
default
born there
then.
and everything.
What games are you excited for?
Rams and the 49ers.
Nice.
It's
not at home, though.
No, it's going to be up in San Fran. So
Wait, quick
Cat
question.
Clara.
Actually,
So basically, the way I see it is, it's like old California team versus new California team.
Well,
That'll be very interesting.
the Rams have been in. They started out in L.A.
Not in my lifetime.
Actually, I think
Actually,
you
no,
were.
I think it was.
I think
your
you were.
birthday.
I think you were
You
like
just
one
didn't care.
or like
Right, not in my
0.
conscious
Yeah,
lifetime.
absolutely.
There we go.
I have one question since you've lived in LA for a while now. When we start having games in LA, I know it's in the old Coliseum.
It's in the college. It's where it's
The Olympic Coliseum.
yeah. It's
How-
where it's where the UCLA plays.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
How bad is
Or
traffic going to
USC
be on game
I'm not
days?
sure which one.
On game days, just
Yeah.
because, so that Coliseum is by the Science Center as well.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, when they had the Endeavor down at the Science Center, we went, I think, the second or the third weekend. This is just the Science Center, which is like opposite
Yeah.
the Coliseum. And traffic, and this is like a Saturday in the afternoon, hour or so,
Oh,
just to
man.
get parking and get in
that's,
there.
That's not a game. That's not a game.
That's not a game. That's just a sciencey thing.
Yeah. Not talking about a game. We're talking about practice.
Well,
Anyways.
you also have to remember that the Rams facility is being built in
Inglewood, right?
Inglewood. That's
Yeah.
correct.
And
so,
the taxpayers are paying for it. Anyway,
That's
another
a
show.
discussion
That's another show.
Anyways.
for sure.
Yes.
we
so
should mention as well.
Yeah,
it's
we
that
should-
time of year
yeah,
again.
it's fantasy football season,
Woo!
and these three gentlemen here have
Real quick side note: it's really weird when you talk in the third.
these
person.
three. These
yeah, I know. I was
That's
confused.
bizarre.
I see. I was like 1, 2, 3.
these 17 gentlemen here. No, so we are doing a fantasy football league along with Sarah from the LuZo cast and other LuZo production things and some other friends and family. So we're excited about that. We'll bring you details of our exploits. It's actually week 1. Krishna and I are going against one another, and Ravi and our father.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wow,
we're
we got
going
straight
against-
up Rem
I
Capel
will-
Civil War.
I think because this is my first ever fantasy.
Yeah,
league
your own team.
ever
That's
by
right.
myself.
That's right.
I've
We
already
do.
had to rely on Quinny for some advice because
You had the number 1 overall pick.
I had no idea what I was doing.
I can
So
send you
this-
some articles
this-
if you'd like.
That's a lot of reading.
You can skim it.
words.
They
Do you
both
have
the
any
topic.
YouTube how-to videos?
There's a lot of fantasy YouTube videos.
There's a lot of fantasy
That's-
shows,
that
yeah.
seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess. I'm my strategy. Real quick, I guess we should talk.
Yeah,
about
let's
strategy.
talk- let's talk
My
about it.
strategy this year, my first year, is strictly a numbers game. Whoever has the highest projected points,
Yeah, just go with it.
whoever isn't going to be, bye or take a break week,
Injured.
injured.
Suspension.
It's
Suspension.
gonna be a numbers game for me.
Fantasy is very much a numbers game.
That's the best way to do it your first time through.
And
Go with projections, read the news on each player. Like,
Right.
make sure nobody's...
Words.
They're little blurbs. They're not long.
I like numbers.
And
not
just to let
words.
people know, we only have an 8-person league, so I actually bumped up the amount of players that we have. It's 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex positions, a defense/special teams, and a kicker.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Essentially, yes. So we all have very deep rosters, but because there's only
very
8,
Christmas oriented.
we have we all have good players. So it'll be exciting to see. It's also a PPR league, which I feel like most leagues today are just the way the NFL is played.
It should be.
Um,
I think it's...
So it'll be
fun.
a fun time, and we will bring you updates and whatnot. So stay tuned for all of that. However, having said all of that, why don't we just get right into the show?
Wait, this
Yes.
isn't the show?
Well, I mean, like the meat and potatoes of the show.
Meat and the potatoes.
You know what I mean?
Taters, precious.
Potatoes,
there-
precious. Tater.
Okay, well, this,
Well, actually, to introduce the next section, which is Arjuna's favorite section,
That's
the
right.
Patriots roster.
we
cuts.
actually have a fan question.
we
You're
have
right.
a fan question. So let's turn to
Roll the
that.
tape, producer.
Bring, bring.
Daisy here. Her question is, how handsome is Tom Brady?
Hey, and that was the question.
That was a great question.
That was from our good friend Mr. Dan.
Well, actually, wasn't it from Daisy?
Oh no, you're right. It is from Daisy. My
Daisy,
mistake.
not Dan.
From good old little Daisy,
Wait, isn't Daisy his?
his dog.
His dog.
Oh, so Dan's got like one of those animal whisper things going on.
Oh yeah, he can. They talk to each other.
He can talk
I've
to
seen it.
animals.
That's really.
But,
I would love to.
Be able to
Just
do that.
kidding. I don't want to talk to him, but
No,
that's weird.
Well,
You
do
really
we want to answer the question?
I mean, I'll leave that one to you.
I'm gonna say
Overrated.
Yes.
Overrated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
So I'm sorry, Daisy. You gotta do better. Your choice of men, questionable.
Go with Barcavius Mingo.
Oh my God.
But speaking of Barcavius Mingo, he made the Patriots roster.
But thank God.
I mean, we had roster cuts. They were a few days ago, this past Saturday. And I would actually say, for the NFL, there were some surprises. One of them was Justin Forsett. I know he re-signed with the Ravens. That kind of threw people off guard. The guard from the Green Bay Packers, Josh Sitton, was also cut, and he signed on with another team. So those are some of the big ones. There's always some movement, some players for sure.
Yeah.
But with the Patriots, for the first time in a while, I wasn't terribly shocked with the way cuts went. They went, we did the roster prediction for our last show, and I wasn't too far off. I feel like I got about 40 or so players right out of the 53, which I think a lot of people can do.
I couldn't.
I think the biggest thing I got wrong was at wide receiver.
Yeah, but everyone got that wrong.
I don't
can't
really
see.
Well, no, actually, a lot of the beat writers kind of
Really,
changed
they
their
kind of
mind.
guessed. They kind of
Yeah,
guessed that's the way it was going to
and
go.
what's really interesting is Bill Belichick essentially lied. I went on this show and I really bought into Belichick saying this is the deepest wide receiver core I've had in my
He didn't
17
say deepest.
years.
Didn't he say best?
He said deepest.
He said deepest.
He didn't say best.
Interesting.
So I think that kind of answers the question in of itself. All these receivers were the same type of averageness.
Yeah.
And that's why he didn't keep any of them. None of them were truly worth it. And I think it also points out to the fact that the Patriots will be running a more 2 tight end, 2 receiver sets. That's why also they kept 4 tight ends with Gronkowski, Bennett, Derby, and Harbor, which a lot of people didn't see. A lot of people thought it was really Darby versus Harbor for that final spot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It ended up being, both guys sticking there. They kept 10 offensive linemen initially. There was a trade today with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Patriots traded for cornerback Eric Rowe. He was the 47th overall pick in the second round in 2015, I believe. He's played corner, but he's big enough, and some people project that he could play safety.
And they gave up a 4th rounder?
It's a conditional 4th based on playing time. It could go up to a 3rd round pick. They had also initially thrown in right guard Josh Klein, who was projected to start on opening day. However, even though it was reported he was going, and Belichick even mentioned that he was going in the trade, that part of the trade was canceled. So Klein stays in New England. I assume he's either going to be cut in some way, shape, or form, or whatnot. But I think that speaks to the health of Shaq Mason, the second-year guard, and Jonathan Cooper, the guard they traded from Arizona, to possibly start at right guard. I know Cooper was taking a lot of reps with the starting unit, as was Mason, before both of them went down. I mean, those potentially could be your starting guards over Joe Tooney and Josh Klein. I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out Sunday night.
Yeah.
But those are some of...
Quick question, though, on the Eric Rowe thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think a 4th rounder that can go up to a 3rd rounder that's not insignificant, right?
No, not at all.
So Eric Rowe, I don't actually know anything about this guy. So can you fill in the blanks there?
He's a superb athlete. Was highly touted coming out of the draft. Was considered he was considered a good value pick, a guy that could produce a lot for that type of team. In that spot. And I think the Patriots made this roster move with the future in mind. Both safety Daron Harmon, who is the Patriots' 3rd safety, and Logan Ryan, who is one of the starting corners opposite Malcolm Butler, are free agents after this year, along with Dante Hightower, along with Jamie Collins. So I think this kind of signals the Patriots building that type of depth that they need. I think it also points to the fact that even though they are deep at safety, they're maybe not happy with a guy like Jordan Richards, for example. And they don't feel comfortable where if McCourty or Chung or even Harmon went down with injury this year, they don't feel comfortable putting Richards in a predominant role. Because as you know, last year, the Patriots ran a lot of 3 safety looks.
Oh, yeah.
So a 3rd safety is an important factor with the Patriots, and they felt they needed more depth there. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, how Rowe is kind of used this year.
Yeah, because he's kind of a hybrid, right? He can play both safety and corner.
It's more. I don't know exactly if he played a lot of safety in Philly. It's kind of projected that he could play safety. Mm-hmm. I assume he's going to play a little bit of both. The Patriots do more of the hybrid with their safety corners anyway.
Yeah.
And they do need more corner depth.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
And maybe
they seem a little thin.
And it probably points out to the fact that the Patriots aren't exactly happy with the competition they've had at corner too. You know, you have Malcolm Butler and Logan Ryan returning from last year, who had good years last year, but Logan Ryan kind of can be an up and down type of player. And then you have, you know, the rookie Cyrus Jones is your third corner, so rookies can always be kind of volatile.
Yeah.
And whatnot. The other big piece of news, Rob Ninkovich suspended for 4 games because, and this is a big shock. Rob Ninkovich is really like
one of the most solid guys.
Model type of teammate. He was a team captain last year.
Yeah.
Was suspended for a performance-enhancing drug.
For 4 games.
Right? For 4 games, same as Tom Brady, so they can hang out together.
They can come on the show.
They can both come on the show.
They can arm wrestle on the show. I think Rob would win.
Probably very easily.
Yeah.
But it actually works. This actually helps the Patriots. Ninkovich is probably going to miss most of those 4 games anyway because of the torn triceps he had.
Oh, okay.
So this gave the Patriots another roster spot.
Okay.
So it kind of has worked out in the end. What's interesting is Ninkovich and Brady, both longtime, specifically Brady, longtime captains with the Patriots. Because they're both suspended, they weren't named captains today. But the 4 Patriot captains that were named, Matthew Slater, no surprise. I think this is like 7th or 8th straight year. Devin McCourty, he's been named every year since his 2nd year. But 2 new captains, Dante Hightower and Rob Gronkowski.
Wow.
Yeah, Gronkowski was named a captain.
Is he mature enough
He also
for captaincy?
He also won the Community Service Award, the Ron Burton Award.
Oh yeah,
with the Patriots.
He
does a lot of community service. That's very under the radar.
Yeah, extremely.
So
that's pretty cool. Maybe that'll be interesting.
Well, but I'm sure Ninkovich and Brady will both be named captains when they get back.
Okay.
You know,
Can you have 6?
Yeah, the Patriots had 6 last year.
Can you have as many as you want?
I believe so, actually.
So you can have 53 captains if you wanted.
So some teams, like I know the New York Jets under Rex Ryan used to do, they would name game day captains, and Rex Ryan loved to troll like past teams. So when he faced the Patriots, he would name all the former Patriots on the Jets.
Rex Ryan
Captains.
I can't stand that guy.
So, so were there any other surprises to you from the roster? I don't think there was anything truly shocking.
Yeah.
One interesting note. So 3 Patriots were claimed on waivers.
Really?
Which is a pretty high amount. Only 30 to 35 players have a waiver put in on them, and for 3 of the Patriots.
It's 10% of the players then were Patriots.
Yeah, that were kind of claimed.
Who?
2 cornerbacks, Cravon LeBlanc, who a lot of people thought would make it because of his good ball skills with a one-handed pick. 7th round pick from 2015, Darryl Roberts. Mm-hmm. And who's the other one? Oh, the linebacker, Camus Grugier-Hill, who I had projected to make the roster, a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
Was also pretty good. So those guys have all been claimed, and unfortunately.
You know what that means? The teams that claimed them watched this show, heard that you thought they would make the roster.
Well, you know what a claim means, right? It's not that they go to their practice squad; they're on their 53-man roster. So.
Yeah. That's
significant. That actually speaks to the depth, I guess, of what the Patriots have, or the perceived depth and whatnot.
Right.
So real quick, I mean, what's your outlook for Week 1 with these Patriots, and maybe in the NFL with some of these games?
In terms of what, wins and losses, or
yeah. So I mean,
okay.
Why don't we do like a quick preview of the Patriots Cardinals? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, I think they're going to lose.
I think they're going to lose pretty handedly.
I think it's
I would be surprised. If it's competitive, I think that's the win for the Patriots because they'd be winning without your star quarterback, without one of your key defensive cogs. You're missing quite a few players due to injury. If you could if you put it this way, if they lose by a touchdown, in a way, that's a win. I would look at that and be very.
agree.
I would be very happy.
I
happy,
would say the first half of this entire season of the Patriots is just building. Like the first 4 weeks is trying to survive and get Garoppolo comfortable with the offense, and then when Brady gets back, it's about getting Brady comfortable back with the team.
Yeah.
The defense is going to be the most ready. I mean, they have the. I mean, I know they're missing Ninkovich and stuff, but Ninkovich probably was going to take a smaller role this year anyway because of the depth you have in the front seven. So
hell of a test for that defense early on. It's great.
Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald, David Johnson, Chris Johnson.
Team. What was I going to say? I think Belichick even came out recently and said, we're not going to know this team very much at all until about mid-October.
And he says that most of the time. He says, football really starts after Thanksgiving. He has a lot of these Belichickisms.
Almost more so. I think that Belichickism applies more so than I can remember this year.
Sure.
With all the moves, all the injuries, and all the suspensions. Patriots are a bunch of bad boys.
All right, so I think that's kind of it for the Patriots. Let's move quickly on to NFL headlines. Some more broader NFL news that relates to kind of the 53-man roster and whatnot. The biggest thing that happened this weekend, and this is perhaps the dumbest move I've seen since Carson Palmer related trade many years ago. The Eagles traded Sam Bradford to the Minnesota Vikings, who lost Teddy Bridgewater to a very bad injury last week.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the Vikings have received Sam Bradford, one of the
unhealthiest
quarterbacks who's
average. Even when he's playing, he's not that good. At least with Carson Palmer, right? He was elite.
Yeah. Carson was an MVP candidate with Cincinnati a couple times.
Right. Sam Bradford? And he's played on some really bad teams, but still, I don't think he's shown a whole lot.
Sam Bradford has shown nothing in the NFL.
Yeah.
So anyway, but the Vikings traded for Sam Bradford, and they gave up a first-round pick in 2017 and a fourth-rounder, a conditional fourth-rounder that can go up depending on playing time and stats and all that type of stuff.
It's like bad teams hand good teams winning seasons on a platter.
Yeah, and I think Belichick has actually said something. Once said something about how
half the league will eliminate themselves before week one.
Himself in the foot. Yeah.
This is a great example of that.
And the best part is, Bradford's not even starting week one. Sean Hill will, because he doesn't know the playbook yet. That's a completely different offense he's going to. So I honestly don't know what the Vikings are doing. I understand they feel like they can compete this year. They do have a good young team. Adrian Peterson still in his maybe prime. You kind of want to maximize those years. But Mark Sanchez was literally released hours later, and I see very little to no difference between Sanchez and Bradford.
Sanchez has more playoff experience.
Or go trade for, like, if the Eagles are planning on trade or playing Carson Wentz, which we'll get to in a moment. So Carson Wentz will start week one. You have Chase Daniel as their backup. Why wouldn't you get Chase Daniel, which you probably have to give less up for? Or why don't you go get like a Brian Hoyer from the Chicago Bears, or a E.J. Manuel from the Buffalo Bills, or even a Geno Smith from the Jets? Because if you think your team is so complete and ready to play, right? Teddy Bridgewater was a good game manager.
Yeah.
Can you not trust Geno Smith to hand the ball off 30 times and make 15 throws and not turn the ball over?
I mean, me personally, no. I wouldn't trust him.
Okay, but the Jets still have 4 quarterbacks, so maybe one of them can do it, right?
Yeah, you would think so.
But you could trade for, or it's mind-boggling
for less than what you gave up for Bradford.
And this is why teams like the Patriots and like the Green Bay Packers and the teams that are still
Steelers,
the Steelers even, they are drafting quarterbacks almost every year, because you run into the problem that the Minnesota Vikings have run into and that the Colts ran into when Peyton Manning went down. If you don't have a viable backup or 2 backups, you're going to grossly overpay for something.
A backup.
It's a gross overreaction, and it's crazy. It's crazy to me. And so moving on. I mean, unless you have anything else to add to that.
No, I think we made it pretty clear where we stand on that trade.
Right. And so,
terrible.
So what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm not sure.
What affects something? The
catalyst?
No. But the reaction. I don't know. Anyway, what's happened because of this trade now with Philadelphia?
Oh, like the domino effect, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the reaction to, I don't know the word.
Consequence.
I can't think
Consequences.
of it. Yeah, I think that's the word I'm trying to think. The consequence to this trade.
You're very tired, aren't you?
I am actually. With the Philadelphia Eagles is they are now starting Carson Wentz, which is a complete 180 from where we were at the draft, where the Eagles drafted Carson Wentz and like, oh yeah, he's gonna learn behind Bradford and Chase Daniel for a year or two. He's coming from 1AA where my alma mater UNH plays in, the same division, and everything. So this guy's gonna come in and play.
Yeah.
And then to make it even funnier, right? So Carson Wentz went number 2 overall in the draft. The number 1 draft overall, the number 1 overall pick,
Yeah.
Jared Goff, who's supposed to come in, be the franchise quarterback for the Rams from day one, be there for 20 years.
That's not quarterback.
Be really great. Will be the number 3 quarterback for the Rams. He won't even be the backup. He'll be inactive on game day.
Oh my God.
He'll be in street clothes on the sideline if he even travels with the team.
Oh my God. Amazing.
It is.
Number 1 overall pick.
And I don't wish ill on either of these guys,
No.
but
You
for
never
Jared Goff, it's a bad start.
Yeah.
And for Carson Wentz, I just feel like this guy's going to get overwhelmed and go the route of the older Carr brother with Houston.
Oh, not Derek.
David Carr.
David Carr with Houston. You know what the problem was
He got
with
hit
him?
too many times?
He got hit, I think, in a 4-year period more times than any other quarterback ever, and it's not even close. It was like an absurd.
Yeah.
I think he got hit one year like 76 times.
So that's
crazy.
So that's what I'm worried about. Is Carson Wentz is adjusting from Division I AA into the NFL game onto a bad Philadelphia team.
And
This is not a good team, right?
Yeah.
It has very little talent on either side of the ball.
Right. And they say the thing that rookies coming from college struggle with is the speed of the game. He's coming from 1AA where the speed is even less than what you would think is less than regular division.
He's also coming from a team, North Dakota State University, that had literally no adversity. His team, in his 4-year career, 3 or 4 year career, they had more championship rings than losses.
Wow.
They had 4.
They beat up UNH one year.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. In Minnesota? Was that in Minnesota?
No, that was in North Dakota.
Oh, okay.
I was there for that game.
Oh, okay.
My ears bled. It was really. They play in the Fargo Dome. Very loud, very very loud venue.
That was an epic night, though, right?
It was an interesting night. Well, it was an interesting the night before.
It was the night before. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just I worried for Carson Wentz that
he's gonna get destroyed.
He's gonna get destroyed, and how he's gonna handle everything. Maybe he does fine, but
yeah, maybe. Maybe he's gonna be.
I feel like it's a bad start for these 2 first picks so far. So see what happens.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Right, and so
probably not. To be real quick before we move on, I can't think of first-round quarterbacks who have done really well in the last 5 years. Can you?
Jameis Winston.
Okay.
Cam Newton.
Okay.
Not in their rookie. I mean, Cam Newton has the rookie
in
their rookie years.
Yeah, in their rookie. I guess Jameis Winston
was pretty good, and Marcus Mariota too. I mean, I know he got hurt at the end.
Yeah.
And they were the 1 and 2 picks last year. Matt Stafford had a good year until he got hurt in 2009. Bradford wasn't good.
I guess you're right. I mean, Winston did. Winston and
I can't think of. So I know Goff is the first number 1 overall pick. That's a quarterback that is not starting opening week since. And this is a name you do not want to be associated with. The infamous Jamarcus Russell. And the reason he didn't start opening week is because he didn't report to the team until September 12th. Jared Goff was there the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's just a bad sign, in my opinion, right? Everything was tailor-made for this guy to start week 1, and he couldn't even win the backup job. Now, Jeff Fisher has said he could alternate with the backup, who I won't even pretend to know who the backup to Case Keenum in Los Angeles is, nor do I care to even know that information.
Oh, you don't think that's important?
No.
For the outcome of a whole season?
I think knowing Case Keenum as the starter is a
I used to know that.
A present all by itself.
Yes.
But actually, speaking of the Rams, they, as we mentioned earlier, they are facing the 49ers on Monday Night Football, the late game.
This is probably the most important storyline to be following in that game.
And Colin Kaepernick, who we talked about at length the last last week. Was it last week?
Last week, yes. I think.
Has actually made the roster.
Yeah.
So he's been named the backup quarterback. Blaine Gabbert will get the start. But there's a lot more of it's actually come out to the story. So for week 4 of the preseason, he didn't sit this time. He kneeled. And one of his teammates, I forget the teammate, another teammate also kneeled, was on one knee. And then Jeremy Lane, a corner for the Seahawks, sat on the bench during the anthem as well. So you're starting to see a little bit of a domino effect. I saw a quote earlier today from Brandon Marshall, who came out in full defense of Colin Kaepernick and called him a patriot, and said he's one of the biggest patriots out there, and kind of going off on some other teams. And it's caused a lot of debate, everywhere. And I think we're now actually starting to get more into. We're starting to get past the actual sitting down during the anthem part and get more into the actual issue, as we're seeing more athletes now do it.
Yeah.
So.
It's interesting. What I'm curious about is that how much it divides that locker room, because obviously I feel like you're going to have some guys who are for it, some guys who are against it, and since it is such a hot button topic, it's it's going to follow the team around, I think.
For sure.
So. And obviously, he's going to have teammates who are for it, but he also has some, I believe, some vocal teammates who have come out against it.
He's had some former teammates.
Yeah.
I know that. I don't know about current teammates who have said.
I
don't think a lot of his teammates have said anything publicly.
Right. Well, if management was smart, they would be no one say anything.
Yeah.
But I would be curious to see. I would be shocked if he didn't have current teammates who are uncomfortable with the whole thing.
Absolutely.
For various reasons. So I guess it's one of those things where you just kind of wait and see what happens.
Right.
He's not the starter, so I don't know if that makes a difference. Probably not. He's still he's a player on that team.
He's an important part of that team. I mean, he was a big reason they went to a Super Bowl a few years back against the Baltimore.
He's got a little bit of legacy
against
with
the Baltimore Ravens, and there are some teammates that are still from that team. I think that was 4 years ago now, or will be 4 years in February. So I mean, he still has some sway and whatnot. 2 other things actually related to his story. He actually announced that he'll donate. I think if he said he made the roster, he would donate $1 million, which I assume he now has. And then also the Santa Clara Police, who do security as a private side thing at the game, are boycotting during security for the game, which is in the same right that Colin Kaepernick doesn't have to stand for the anthem, is their constitutional right.
Since it's a private security,
it's private,
right? Private security.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not mandated by the police department to do it.
Yeah. The great thing about this country is there's a ton of security firms.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not as if that's their.
I think they'll be. I think Candlestick will be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, it might not be called Candlestick anymore now that they're in the new stadium.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Not terribly surprising. Not a surprising move.
No, I mean, you have extreme reactions on both sides. You have a lot of people that think Colin Kaepernick is an idiot, and is unpatriotic and is very un-American. You have the middle people who are annoyed by the story, and think that he's complaining over nothing, and whatnot. And then you have the people who think what he did is right. And that he is raising awareness to a subject that needs to have awareness raised to it, and whatnot. And I kind of tend to lean towards that last one. I think this is something that I hope brings some type of more discussion to a sorely lacking subject in all forms of culture, and bringing it up in the biggest sport in the country. I think it's had an impact. You're seeing more players do it, and it's become more. The story hasn't gone away.
Right.
This isn't a story that just lasted a week and then disappeared. He did it. If you want to take it from a football standpoint, he played really well in week 4. He looked like kind of like the Colin Kaepernick of old, who Ron Jaworski of ESPN,
haven't seen that guy in a
of
long
ESPN
time.
Once said is going to be the best quarterback in the league for years to come.
Yeah.
Full start on Ron there.
It happens.
But yeah, it's just going to be an interesting, and I think this is going to be a storyline we'll monitor and watch throughout as the year goes on. It'll be interesting to see how it's handled week 1. especially the Monday Night Football game that's late. You
Yeah.
know, Kaepernick is a backup quarterback, but does it become a storyline? Does it become a storyline if Kaepernick comes in? Let's say Blaine Gabbert gets benched, gets hurt in the game, or whatnot. So it's something he will eventually come in at some point. If Blaine Gabbert starts 16, let's just say I just want to say if Blaine Gabbert starts 16 games this year, I will be completely shocked. Kaepernick will get in there at some point for San Francisco.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that?
No, Ravi, do you have anything about the Kaepernick? He made the team.
Who? Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick?
Remember he sat at. For the
Oh, why is that news still?
Because he made the team.
Great, he made the team.
NFL?
Whatever.
Well, he made the team, and other people now are sitting. The conversation is actually starting to get to what he wanted. He's donating $1 million to the charity.
So he wins. Everybody wins.
He
Everybody's
wins.
happy.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Well, right. He said he
Everyone's
wanted to do it for the thing that I don't even remember.
He wants
Awareness.
he wants awareness, and he wants to
Sure,
bring this
so
conversation up.
awareness is coming then, so he won. He won.
Well, I mean, for
It's an
some,
interesting way to look
for
at it.
others, not. I mean,
Yeah, they're just crying for some reason.
Oh, man.
Correct?
I guess. Actually, that's a good point. I want to bring up one of our segments we started before, and I think this is actually a pretty good debate. Let's pivot now into some baseball talk with the Boston Red Sox. We're now in the final month of the season. They're making a playoff push, a playoff run, and they've called up their number one prospect, infielder, as we'll call him, as he's played second bases for a lot of his time with the in the Red Sox farm system until a few months ago. Yoan Moncada.
Hell of an arm.
Yeah, you've seen the replays,
Great,
right?
yeah, great defense.
So he's been called up. John Farrell was really pounding the table for this one.
Yeah.
He said the impact of Moncada could be Ellsbury-like from 2007, Bogarts-like from 2013. And so it has happened. Travis Shaw is now really just a bench player.
Is Moncada the everyday guy?
So he's getting the starts against righties, and then Aaron Hill is kind of getting the starts against lefties
Gotcha.
right now. So Moncada, not taking into account tonight's game, has started off 4 for 13. So it's about 308 average, an RBI. But what's most concerning to me, and really, him coming out, he's a switch hitter, but he has 6 strikeouts, including 3 strikeouts the other night. So there are some holes in his swing.
Yeah.
And this is the second Red Sox farm player to come up from Double-A, the other being Andrew Benintendi. He worked out before he got hurt. I know he's gearing up to come back soon. But it just seems really risky to me. And this is the debate I want to get into is will Yoan Moncada make a true impact with the Red Sox as they make a push for the playoffs and maybe into the playoffs, or will he more hurt the team? And I think it's going to hurt the team more. And my argument, and we can start the debate, is that you're taking away – I know Travis Shaw has been a really poor hitter since the All-Star break, hitting like 200, 183 in August. It's been bad, but he's not the only guy that's struggling right now offensively. And we kind of saw this coming. When we talked about this last week, Jackie Bradley Jr., Xander Bogaerts, even David Ortiz a little bit has struggled. Dustin Pedroia and Mookie Betts have obviously been killing it. But a lot of guys have been struggling. And I know the production from third base hasn't been what you wanted. Aaron Hill's been a really poor trade, to platoon with Travis Shaw. But I don't think you bring in a guy who hasn't even played at AAA, who's really young, who wasn't even a 300 hitter in AA baseball, who is a nice prospect, but probably needs some more seasoning, and think this is the guy that can be the savior to your season, who could have a quote-unquote Xander Bogaerts or Jacoby Ellsbury type impact. That doesn't come around very often. The fact that Ellsbury was able to do that and then Bogaerts was able to do that was great, right? But correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering things differently. The Red Sox weren't desperately needing that from either player. It was a nice surprise that helped them, that further added to it. But they didn't.
You're absolutely right
But
there.
they didn't bring Ellsbury up specifically to come in and
Be the savior.
supplant
That's
Coco
correct.
Crisp, right?
Right.
They didn't bring Bogarts up to supplant Will Middlebrooks at third base, right? Because remember, Bogarts played some third base in that World Series run. These are things that naturally happened, right? I know they called up Benintendi to fix the left field position, and that happened.
That worked out.
That worked out, and I argued that was a bad idea because I thought he would crash and burn, and he didn't. And credit to Benintendi, but to think Lightning can strike twice,
that's
what I'm concerned about, and especially like already in the small sample size, 13 at bats, you've already struck out 6 times.
Yeah,
that's 50%. That's bad.
Yeah, that's not good. I guess so. To take the other side, I totally 100% agree with you.
Okay.
The only way I think that he's going to make an impact, he can't make an enormous impact. He can't make enough of an impact that's going to be, whether you make the playoffs or not. But I think he can have some impact, and that would be the defense and a base-stealing threat. I would like to see them use him more as like a defensive substitution late in games. Pinch runner late in games.
Yeah, you're right.
And the odd start here and there. I would like him to do those kind of things instead of kind of like Dave Roberts, during that first World Series, when they made that trade. He was a great guy just to bring in late in games, put him on the bases, play some defense.
For sure.
You didn't need him to come in and hit, 320, put the ball in play, not strike out, walk a bunch of times. I think he would be better, more impactful using him more sparingly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, they started him 3 straight games.
Yeah. I think that's an issue.
I think his approach to the plate got worse and worse and worse. Now, of course, you see how he adjusts and whatnot. But
it is young, small sample size.
I agree with you. I don't think this guy should be coming in and starting against righties all the time. And I don't think you should just take the job away from Travis Shaw.
Yeah.
I know he struggled
platoon those two guys
for a few months, but Shaw is also a guy that still has good numbers this year. I know his average is at 250, but he has a bunch of home runs and he has a bunch of RBIs. And even his last start, I mean, he hit another home run. He had four or five RBIs. You don't just give up on a guy like that. And I think people have been critical of Farrell all season long for a bunch of things. But one thing I am critical on John Farrell for this, for being a little for thinking
happy.
For thinking that, Moncada, I know you're excited about him. I mean, a lot of Red Sox fans are, but to think this is a guy that could truly come in and save your playoff hopes and whatnot, I think it's hurt more or less the last few days than it's helped, to be honest. Moncada could be a great player, and he should be. He should be a great player one day. I don't think he's there yet, and I think relying on him to become that is a bad move by the Red Sox. Yeah. And it'll be, I mean, could they have a downturn? Could they miss the playoffs a la 2011 with the Boston Red Sox because of a move like this? I don't think it'll just be because of the move.
Yeah.
But
it's if the rest of the offense can, rediscover that earlier form of the summer.
Of course. And now you're pitching well. I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez had a no-hitter through 7 2/3.
Yeah.
David Price is pitching really well. Pomeranz is pitching well if he could get some run support. Porcello, obviously. You really have a great pitching staff now. It's all coming together at the right time. And now, have you messed up your offense?
Yeah.
Because now, especially in the National League games, you have at 7 Moncada. At 8, if you don't have Leon in there, you have the Bradley who can't hit, and then you have your pitcher. So 7, 8, 9. So you can't hit with a 30-year lineup.
We'll see. I mean, he does. He is hitting 308. So he's striking out a lot, but maybe we'll see. We'll have to see.
We will.
I think we both agree though it's unlikely. But hey, if lightning strikes twice.
Maybe this is
the year.
This would have to be the year.
Yeah, you would think so. I'm like, okay, well, it just never happens, but maybe this is the year. So, I think that's about it.
I think that's it. I think we're gonna get into Ravi's favorite section right now. Ravi Asks.
What is that? Sleep time? Nap time?
Sleep time.
You've been very quiet this show.
Yeah.
You didn't have a lot to add for this show today. You didn't bring the juice, as the coaches would say.
I was working on a couple other side things.
Oh,
projects.
for Ravi Asks?
How dare you? Say yes.
Yes.
Good.
I actually don't have anything today.
Nothing, huh?
Much like sports. I was going to go somewhere philosophical. I've got nothing.
You can't even
Literally, absolutely nothing. I guess what I'll do is I will sum it all up, if that works.
Sure,
yeah,
go for it.
That works.
The NFL is great. Football is back.
Yeah.
Let the beers be a-flowing, and we will talk smack.
Oh wait, I have a question for you. Right? Yeah. So
That was beautiful. That was poetry.
so-
I literally just made
Well,
poetry.
so to let our fans know, Ravi has made a personal commitment this year to watch.
Oh, that's right.
To watch more football
No.
games.
My goal is to watch every single Patriots game.
That's correct.
This season.
Never
done it. This is gonna be an undertaking.
Aren't you going away soon? That might prevent you from doing that?
You can still
England is not like on a
He could still
backwater
catch the
planet. I
game.
can still watch a game.
catch the
I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the middle of nowhere.
No, I'm not. I'm going to be in civilization.
But
Okay, fair enough.
Stonehenge, I
But-
don't know. Is that
but
the
anyway.
heart of civilization?
I think that's pretty far away from
So Ravi has made this undertaking to watch all the Patriot games and kind of follow it, especially with your fantasy team.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously you're not a hardcore fan by any means, but what are your initial, I guess, thoughts on the Patriots and going into this first game?
Well,
and whatnot?
like anybody, I mean, Mr. Brady, he's a classy guy.
He's classy.
He's obviously suspended for 4 games?
The first 4 weeks.
The first 4 weeks. So obviously, we're not going to see, or I'm not going to see something that I'm used to seeing, right?
Right.
I mean, most Patriots games that I've seen, I would say 90% of them, Tom Brady's there playing.
Yeah.
You know, it's Tom Brady, it's Bill Belichick. You kind of, when you've watched enough football, especially with one quarterback in mind and so forth, you kind of get a general comfort kind of sense of what's going on. So for me, this is because you watch multiple teams, right? You're watching multiple quarterbacks. You know,
Right.
they're all over the place.
Sure.
I'm solely just always, for the most part,
Tom Brady is
watching-
all you know.
Exactly. So this is good. This is
Damn.
like watching a whole new team almost.
Yeah.
Just because
lot
to
of
me
people would
the
agree.
quarterback is kind of the rock, if you will, of the team. He's the guy throwing the ball to you.
Touches the ball. He, quote unquote, touches the ball more than any other player.
Yeah, especially to deflate it. Whoops, threw that out there. Anyway,
Just remember, your blood
Actually-
boils over Deflategate.
it does actually.
Let's real quick.
does,
You know
it
what?
does.
Since before the season starts, let's just go around real quick and shout out a win-loss record for the Patriots. So it's 16 games. So wins and losses must equal 16 games.
Of
I'm gonna
course,
say.
of course.
I'm gonna say 11-5.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. It's
I
kinda
even
low,
I
but
even
think
know that's kind of bizarre.
for the Patriots. Yes.
So what was their record for the 2012?
I think the last 4 years have gone 12-4.
yeah,
of
they're
every-
consistently
wow.
12 and 4
4
like
years,
every
12
year.
and 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going
the
one
last
less.
3 or 4
I'm going
years,
one
yeah.
less.
You're going one less?
Yeah.
Okay, even though Mr. Brady's going to be up for 4 games.
That's correct. Yeah.
Wow.
I think they'll go 11-5.
Tuna?
No, you go.
No,
I wanna go
tuna
last.
first.
I want to go last.
Tuna first is the polite thing to do.
9-7.
Wow. Damn, a bunch
I
of
think-
pessimists over
I
here.
think the Patriots will struggle.
That's actually,
this year.
that's pretty close. I was going to say 10-6.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got the full gamut.
Full basically.
Except 12-4, which is what they do every year.
That's what they do.
which is
gonna be hard
interesting.
this
So
year,
so
though.
basically,
But to preface mine, I think
Yeah.
they'll struggle early. But I think unlike some Patriots teams of years past, they're gonna really catch fire at the end of the year, and then they can make a good push into the playoffs and play. They're gonna be playing their best football late, which is what you want.
right, of course. So are you both saying that the losses in terms of your ratios are going to come definitely with the first 4 games because Brady's not in it?
No, I think they'll probably go 2-2 in
That's
the first 4
exactly
games.
what I think, yeah.
But I also think that when Brady comes back, it's another
Sure.
adjustment period.
Right.
You have to get him back. But you're also getting some other key players back, like Rob Ninkovich, like Dion Lewis.
Sure. So you said the
whatnot.
first 4 games. You're saying 2-2.
I say 2-2 for those.
What do
4
you say
games.
for the first 4?
I say 2-2.
I say 3-1. So I say 1 win, 3 losses.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes,
That's really
I think
low.
it's
No,
gonna,
it's
no. The reason is
possible.
I don't know RC a lot, but
Sure.
if I had to make an educated guess here, like you said, with any kind of team, with any kind of big change, like your quarterback changing, it's gonna take them a while to kind of get used to it.
Sure.
Playing practice matches, preseason matches are probably nothing compared to the real thing. So I foresee, I would say, the first 2 games go completely off the rails. The 3rd game, they finally get it. And then the 4th game, they get too cocky.
Interesting.
That's humanity.
Yeah. I like it.
I think that's a good way to wrap up the show.
I think that's good.
You know?
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. This has been the Lateral. We're 7 episodes in. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it
impressive.
went by
Yeah.
pretty quick. We're almost 2 months into this thing.
Yeah,
Damn.
and now we're really into the heart of our season. The football season is here upon us. So next week we'll be reacting to week 1 action. I'm sure
It'll be fun.
Every week, every first week, there's always big stories that happen. So we'll be reacting and then doing a little bit of previewing as well.
Are we watching the Patriots game somewhere?
Big Wangs.
Big Wangs, yeah.
If you're in Los Angeles, Hollywood area, we will be at Big Wangs. Come talk to us.
We're celebrities.
Well, you guys will. I won't be there.
Like I said, we're celebrities.
So I believe next week it will just be Krishna and I, and we'll probably be.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
We'll probably
Yes, it will be.
coming solo. Maybe we'll get a third person on here to be on with us.
You guys could do a cutout of me.
That's a lot of work. But so thank you for watching. As
Yes,
always,
thank you.
please subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook.
Send us questions.
Send us questions. Follow us on
Or funny comments.
Twitter, Instagram, Vine. If you're listening on iTunes, please subscribe to the podcast on the iTunes page. And then also, check out some of our other stuff, the LuZo cast. We're doing some bi-weekly stuff right now in September, but we will be getting back into weekly stuff. We have LuZo reviews, we have LuZo builds, we have some sketches up there. So check all of that fun stuff out. And for Krishna, Ravi, and myself, Arjuna, this has been The Lateral.